Welcome to Weekends with Whitney. In today's show, we're going to the skies with Louisiana's most experienced balloon pilot, Robert Ambo. And that's not all. We're also flying high with the Cajun Airlift. These women are two of the 40 pilots donating their time and airplanes to get relief supplies to those ravaged by recent hurricanes.
I think 8 pilots the first day, and it's just grown, and now we've moved to different areas, still helping as much as we can in Texas, and now we are also spreading out.
Then, the power of prayer with Dr. Nick. But first, natural disasters have given birth to the Cajun Navy, the Cajun Army, and now just last month, the Cajun Airlift. These are high-flying angels in the sky, and they're about to take on their biggest challenge yet, Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Hurricane Harvey hammered Houston with nearly 50 inches of rain. As floodwaters were rising higher, so was a new group of Cajuns coming to take them under their wings. Pilot Julie Jones and Kelly Kurtz are two of the nearly 40 pilots now known as the Cajun Airlift.
After Hurricane Harvey, a bunch of pilots and air traffic controllers got together. It started with just a couple of flights, and we saw a need, and it just kind of grew. Out of Lakefront and Gonzales, we just started coordinating and bringing relief supplies to hard-to-reach areas.
With roads underwater for nearly a week, through the air was the only way to get relief supplies in bulk.
Kelly is one of my best buddies, and she kind of got all this going, and because I love to fly, I said, heck yeah, I'll go and do some trips, and that's how I got involved.
Julie donated not only her time and talents, but her airplane too.
Julie and I flew out immediately. We went to Conroe that first weekend.
It was the first one available to fly into. Everything else was still trying to get back on its feet. Then I hit Beaumont, where there was a church group accepting donations. And you have to know that these people are going to get the supplies to whomever needs it.
Julie's made 7 flights so far. Kelly, not as many, because of her experience coordinating ground efforts in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina.
We were able to learn a lot from it, and we also created a system to help with donations, all the donations that were coming in from all over the world.
The social media world has expedited everything since Katrina, making all this achievable and substantial.
When they saw that we were doing this, people started sending funding for fuel. So, I mean, I hadn't done all this all myself. I have had a lot of help. Thank goodness. The people are good, you know, they want to help, and they said, here, put this in your plane and go bring some more stuff.
Julie's plane can carry 500 pounds of supplies.
When we got there, they were so happy to see all the stuff we could bring and fit in that airplane, and stuff like baby diapers and pads for babies to play on, and just simple stuff that you take for granted that they really need.
Kelly knows all about that need. Last August, her Prairieville home filled with 18 inches of floodwater. Work to repair it is still underway.
You do what you got to do. We had so much help. There were people from all over that came out to help, you know, and so we're just kind of paying it forward.
Fast forward, in fact, as they were flying everything from breast milk and mattresses to pet food and paper towels to Texas, Hurricane Irma flattened Florida.
Now we've got pilots in Mississippi, Florida, Louisiana, Missouri even, and we just kind of formed a network, and it's working.
It's a lot more work for everyone, too. Their roles now have to be defined and delegated.
And you realize that you can't do everything. You can't collect all the stuff. You can't make the contacts over there where you're bringing your stuff to. You know, you can't fly it. You can't do all of it. So people kind of started working in their little niche where this person can make the contact, find out what they need. This person over here collects what we need, and somebody else can coordinate the flights, things like that. Yeah. It works better. Yeah.
Things would be upended again just 10 days later when Hurricane Irma crippled the Caribbean.
That's been a challenge.
New challenges like proximity, security.
Intercepted. If you hear this transmission, acknowledge the radio call and rock your wing.
No electricity and aircraft compatibility.
It doesn't make sense for me to take my small plane. You need a bigger aircraft to do that. Twin engine or a jet that can cut across the Gulf. Get there quick.
Time is vital. The Cajun Airlift has been trying to get thousands of pounds of critically needed medical supplies, along with a medical team, into Puerto Rico. Then Wednesday, their prayers were answered. Homeland Security announced it was partnering with the Cajun Airlift.
It's a beautiful day.
We're going to have, I think, ships involved. We've got a couple of National Guard jets that have committed to it. We're going to finally be able to get the supplies in that we need. And we still need help. We're going to need supplies.
Cajun Airlift defied the odds and cut through the bureaucratic red tape. Julie and Kelly individually defied the odds too. Only 4% of pilots in the U.S. are women.
I just wanted to do it. And I knew one day it would turn into mission work. I didn't know how, but I knew that there would be a need for it.
You just answered the call.
Yep.
A surprising 25% of Cajun Airlift's pilots are women. So when Julie and Kelly land with relief supplies and people see 2 women in the cockpit, it's a double surprise.
You get a lot of looks when you pull that plane up and you shut it down. You get a lot of looks. Like, what? I'm like, you better be scared.
They're collecting relief supplies for Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands now through October 11th. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday at their Gonzales warehouse, 615 East Worthy Street. Now, if you'd rather make a financial donation, you can go to their Facebook page. They have a quick link there that makes it really fast and easy, and their Facebook page is Cajun Airlift. And still ahead, we return to the sky, but this time in a hot air balloon. How they're keeping the sport South Louisiana made famous flying high. Then sending something else skyward, prayers. Dr. Nick on the power of prayer and what it can and can't do. As Weekends with Whitney continues.
Each morning in Baton Rouge, we rise to meet opportunity. We carry the weight of responsibility proudly. We choose our paths. We move fast and we fly high. We light the way for others to follow. We make it happen. But what really matters is what happens when we land at home. Baton Rouge Metropolitan Airport. Fly easy.
Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees. Welcome back to Weekends with Whitney. Hot air ballooning started more than 200 years ago. But did you know that it was actually Baton Rouge that put it on the map in the U.S. and made it more popular than ever? That was more than 20 years ago. See how one local enthusiast is determined to keep the sport flying high. It's the most colorful sport anywhere. Spectators go nuts over it. Pilots have plenty to crow about. They're the cock of the walk. Here, freedom is always on the rise. Pigs really do fly. And the animal kingdom has the world at its feet. You just can't help but smile as childhood characters come to life, larger than life, where you really do see castles in the sky. For Robert Ambo, Louisiana's most experienced and perhaps most renowned balloon pilot, seeing his first flight was a light bulb moment.
Ballooning fulfilled my life. Looking back, I can't imagine my life without it. I think it was meant to be. The good Lord said, Robert, be here at this time and do this, and I did.
It began in Gonzales back in the 80s. He sponsored the Balloon Fest in exchange for a ride up in one. A downpour of rain scratched that. Nevertheless, Robert was enraptured.
So I didn't get to experience flying, but I was around it, and I said, I got to do it. The pilots involved with it told me there's a big one coming up in 2 weeks in Albuquerque, somewhere around 600 hot air balloons. I said, I'm going. So I told Coy, my best friend, I said, let's go up and watch them. So we get a ticket, we go there, we get on the field, 600 balloons are there. It's just overwhelming how much excitement it was around it. So I said, I want a balloon. So I bought a balloon before I came home.
And you had never even been up in one?
Never been up in one.
Much less flown one.
It's just something I knew, and here I am today, 30 years later.
Luckily, he was right, because that balloon cost $12,000. Were you nervous that first time you went up on your solo
No, I
flight?
wasn't nervous. I loved every second of it.
The first year, he flew 125 hours, 5 times the normal amount. His instructor was equally obsessed.
My instructor said, I'm gonna have the Nationals here instead of in Indianola, Iowa, which it was for 18 years. That would be equivalent to me telling you right now, I'm gonna get the Indianapolis 500 car race in Gonzales. Everybody would say, no, Robert, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But it worked out. He got sponsors on board, he got the TV stations involved.
TV was key. It took ballooning to new heights, not just in Louisiana, but across America. Record numbers were seeing it for the first time.
They did live spots for 2 hours. From the time we got to the field, for our briefing, our takeoff and landings. That's unbelievable today in TV to do something for that length of time.
Also for the first time, Baton Rouge awarded prize money.
In Iowa, they gave first, second, and third place trophies, so it was bragging rights. Here was actually when they started paying money. I'm gonna guess now, I don't remember because a few years back, but first place prize money might have been $8,000 or $10,000. Second place was $8,000. Third place, so that you can see how the pilots went, wow, we're going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
That same year, Robert was Rookie of the Year. Just a few months later, when Coca-Cola was hiring its first balloon pilot, Robert landed the job over others with more experience.
I was fortunate enough that they picked me, and to this day, 30 years later, I still fly for them. We made a relationship that you do over the years. John Miller, his family, his wife, kids, we go back a long way. I remember his first balloon flight at Pennington, just back and forth and all that. So they can't get rid of a family member.
Robert soared. He soon had nearly half a dozen other commercial contracts.
Cellular One, way back when, AT&T, Dr. Pepper, Walmart, the state of Louisiana. I mean, it's a 7-story tall moving billboard.
That gets everyone's attention. He's piloted for the political too. President George Bush and presidential candidate Ross Perot. Robert even took Paul Newman ballooning.
When I answered the phone and I go, hello, he said, yeah, Robert, I said, yeah. He says, thinking about doing a hot air balloon flight. I said, well, great, who am I talking to? He said, Paul Newman. So it was like, okay. I mean, we just sat out like we're doing right now, and he asked a lot of questions about ballooning, and I'll ask a lot of questions about movie star acting. He was such a gentleman that I can say, pick the best movie that you ever seen him in, he was 100 times better than that.
This is Robert's Man Cave. It's a balloonist's dream. Memorabilia from more than 1,000 competitions. Trophies like this. #1 balloon pilot in the United States. Southeast Regional Champ. And Louisiana State Champion 15 times.
The hours I put in paid off.
In every way. He captured 4 key grabs.
A key grab is when they put a pole in the middle of the field, the target field, with a key on top of it. And they can't put the car up there, so they put the key up there. So we go out 3 to 5 miles and we have to fly in. I was in Jackson, Mississippi, the same year I won Rookie of the Year, and we flying in, and you start reading on other balloons, just like cars do. And I got these 2 really good, hot, crackerjack balloon pilots in front of me. One's to my left and one's to my right. And I said, if I get in the middle, I can still work it and get to where I have to go to get to that key grab to win a Sunbird Pontiac convertible.
Okay.
They missed it, and I got it. So that was my first key grab, which was unbelievable.
His second key grab won him this pickup truck. 3 and 4, cash prizes in the thousands. He has priceless, once-in-a-lifetime memories too.
I've taken off out of Tiger Stadium on the 50-yard line.
Come on.
Yeah, that was an honor to do that.
Well, it's been at least 20 years since I've done this.
Really, that long? You ready to go up?
Now?
Right now, let's do it.
Okay. Born ready.
Come fly with me, let's fly away. If you can use some exotic booze, there's a bar in far Bombay. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me, let's float down to Peru. In Llama Land, there's a one-man band and he'll toot his flute for you. Come fly with me, let's take off in the blue. Once I get you up there.
The next big ballooning event near us is the Great Mississippi Balloon Race in Natchez, October 20th through the 22nd. And look for the Ascension Hot Air Balloon Festival to be back here next summer. And still ahead, the power of prayer with Dr. Nick. Right after this.
Maggio, the only way to go. Maggio Buick GMC, your satisfaction's our specialty. We really deliver on Falls River, here in New Roads. Small town atmosphere, legendary service for over 60 years. Maggio, the only way to go. The only way to go, that's Maggio.
9-time winner of the prestigious Buick GMC Mark of Excellence Award.
Celebrate Baton Rouge's Boo Centennial at the second annual FIFA Halloween Festival, October 26th through 29th in Baton Rouge. From adult fun to family fun, the FIFA Festival has Halloween fun for everyone. Don't miss the festival's main event, the Baton Rouge Halloween Parade, on October 28th at 2 p.m. Find your treasure at the FIFA Halloween Festival, October 26th through 29th. For more information, go to FIFA.com.
Often in times of tragedy, disaster, we will say, I'm praying for you. Is that hollow, or does it really make a difference? Dr. Nick joins us this morning with more. I really do include people in my prayers when I say that, and I will throw one up right then. but should I be doing more?
Whitney, I don't know whether it's worth taking the time, but I'm glad you're offering it, because I think it's a very significant phrase. I started thinking about this because of the flood. I put something up on Facebook about Tommy. There must have been at least 300 within an hour of prayers coming, praying for you, praying for Tommy, praying for the family, praying. And of course, I had to tell Tommy, I said, you've got to go see this list of people praying for you. Now, some might say hollow. That's the first thing that comes out, okay? So the question becomes, what might it mean when you say I'm praying for you? What might it mean? I'll give you some ideas and maybe you can add to it.
Sure.
I'm thinking of you. I stand with you in spirit. I really want the best for you. We don't pray for people if we don't want the best for them.
No, right. The prayer is.
I can't do anything, but at least I'm taking a moment to be grateful for you, and my thoughts are there. We're connected. We're connected. Does that connect with you? I'm praying for you is not hollow. No, it can be.
No, but it's not the Cajun Navy getting in their boats and going to get people out of there. And I guess that's what I think is probably the supreme thing. I think that my little prayers are just so insignificant when people are actually traveling 4 hours to go risk life and limb to save people.
Okay, that's fine. So are we gonna diminish all those women throughout history that have been Carmelites, that have sat in a convent and never spoken, and they spend their entire life praying for people?
Yeah.
Are we going to discount them that much?
No.
I wouldn't, but they don't get much attention.
They don't.
And they're sitting there praying for us all the time, thinking somehow that prayer is making a connection. And I don't think it's insincere. Do I think the Cajun Navy does great work? Absolutely. Yeah. Is action and behavior important? Absolutely. But sometimes when we can do nothing else, Whitney, we can be with the people in prayer and say, Lord, wherever you are or whoever you are, please protect them.
Yeah.
What do you think about getting 300 comments that say I'm praying for you?
I think that's powerful.
Wouldn't you feel loved?
I would.
Wouldn't you feel that somebody is thinking of me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I love how people have said before, I feel like I am in the palm of God's hand because so many of you have prayed for me. And I think, wow, I haven't been in that experience. I haven't had devastating loss yet in my life. I will. But I love that they feel uplifted and they feel held. I think that's special.
Yes, I'm praying for you. I'm holding you. There are just so many ways that it could be interpreted, but the point is that we get caught up in thinking, okay, fine, what's big to do? But what I think we need to do in trying to talk about this today is push us when we say it to mean it.
Yeah, right.
To not just say it rote, as in, hi, how you doing, when we're not really thinking about how you're doing.
Right.
So when I'm saying I'm praying for you, that there's a sincerity of I really care. I'm not going to pray for people that I don't care about.
Right. But does prayer change things?
I think it does.
Yeah.
I think it does. But you're going to say, well, show me. I can't show you senses. It's a mysterious. It's an invisible kind of meaning. I've told you before, when people go on silent retreats, what are they doing? They're not speaking for 4 or 7 days. What comes of it? We don't know, but we do it. We do it because we think that somehow there's something to being silent, be still and know that I'm God.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
There's a stillness to life, and so praying for someone is actually very powerful. Yes, we can do. I know we can do, but remember, we're a doing society already.
Sure. Well, and
really, we are doing, being.
I get it. It's not a physical, but it is a doing. Prayer is action. Prayer is doing something.
It is. I remember when Sidney Joy had that horrible accident out in Whatchamadoodle. I was very sensitive to what you were going through and what she broke her arm or something and the surgery and did you experience people loving you? I'm going to hope that you did.
I did, and you're right.
You just know that people are out there thinking of you, and then the medical people and all the people that are doing are also kind of praying in their activity. I just think we need to be very careful not to make action that great.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I know, again, action is the big thing, but sometimes when I can do nothing, I can just be with you.
Right. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Dr.
Thank
Nick.
you, everyone.
Absolutely. More Weekends with Whitney after this. Atlas Foundation Repair, fixing your foundation problems for more than 30 years while preserving and protecting your trees. Thanks for taking to the skies with us today here on Weekends with Whitney. We hope to see you back here again next week. Until then, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Today, we leave you with this.
There's Macy. Hold on and say a prayer. They're collecting relief supply. We're not off to a good start. They're collecting relief supplies for the port. Okay, one more time. Okay, here we go.